episode of the Cantina Hangouts. This is a Waffle Press show, this podcast channel, series about the Mandalorian on Disney Plus. We'll be coming back week after week talking about the adventures of the Mandalorian. And spoiler alert for those that didn't watch the first episode and are just tuning in, a little Yoda baby. It's Lone Wolf and Cub in space. I thought it was trying to be Logan in space, but it's Lone Wolf and Cub, which I think is way cooler of a premise. Just some quick recaps, like regular television shows do. I'm your host, Diego Crespo. With me is my co-host, Gina Versa.
Hey, I'm looking up Baby Yoda healthcare tips.
A little more brief recap of this. Gene, you and I were a little mixed on the first episode. I think you liked it. I did not.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it enough. Yeah, I mean, I saw your points. I was really worried how this next episode would go.
I have to say, even though the cute baby Yoda was the cliffhanger to the previous episode, just adorable. There's no denying that. I was like, this is the least interesting version of the series for me. And I think I figured out why. The writing is not the problem. I bet on the page this would all read fine. This is a series that's going to live and die on the strength of its directors week after week. And Dave Filoni's not a live action dude. He can be. We mentioned that there was potential. And I think the potential was realized because I really liked this episode. What did you think?
Yes, I was also really in love with this episode. And it's interesting that this story, it reminds me of, it reminds me of the Genndy Tartakovsky Star Wars from 2003.
Oh, Genndy Tartakovsky? Yeah. It's more playful.
Yeah, it reminds me of that, where it's just so, has such patience for its action and everything going around. It's not like cut, trying to get you to places. It's just letting you breathe in the moment.
Yeah, that was a criticism I had of the pilot. I think this confirms my belief that I wasn't too hard on the pilot. I was a little concerned after our episode, honestly. But no, that was a bad episode. And I think it's because that episode didn't let its characters breathe. We couldn't get into the headspace of the Mandalorian.
Right. We're just shown these quick flashes of a traumatic childhood.
Yeah, even that, outside of that, just the setting of the episode, because the coverage was very television coverage. I don't know what he felt as a character, and I think that's a totally fair complaint, given that it's a character without a name and a character that will never take his mask off. Things I'm completely fine with.
Yeah,
you have to understand what they're feeling still, or at least what they're trying to reserve emotionally.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say it was interesting in this episode. I love his just gradually throughout the episode, he just gets more and more frustrated with everyone. With oh, I hate these Jawas and this Yoda baby. And Nick Nolte's okay. He's cool with me, but everything else, I hate it. And this Rancor. He's more pissed off that everyone's just tired and wants to just make his money. Make money. Yeah. I could relate to him.
I think the first episode was really torn between showing Mando as a complete and total badass, or if he was just some schmuck flailing around, there's a big difference between the character they showed in the opening scene and then when he's wrestling with a fish monster. I don't mind him being a complete and total badass, but you gotta make him interesting. And I don't mind him flailing around, and being not incompetent, just struggling. And this one I felt got it down. Yeah, this one I felt got it down better. He's not the best. I think they called him the best, or said he's one of the best in the galaxy, whatever. I think stop doing that for characters.
Oh yeah,
it's okay for them not to be the best.
It's what if he's he's the shittiest bounty hunter in the galaxy? He just sucks and everything. That's interesting.
Yeah, even then, he doesn't need to just straight up suck. Just be a normal dude. I think we're being shown that he's just a dude who's trying to get by, and that's interesting to me. This episode, I think, really put him in an interesting position where he's kind of lost all the stuff that made him quote unquote cool in the first episode, and now he's I got to deal with all this shit. Like, yeah, that's a funny premise, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets more pissed. And he's like Anakin, where instead of the sand people, he eats the Jawas. Oh, I guess they're cannibalistic. We found out, or they just eat.
They're not cannibalistic. They're not eating themselves.
Oh, okay. I mean, they eat like other creatures' egg babies, and I guess it's a baby.
It was just an egg. It was
I
just
mean,
like empty yolk egg, you know. I mean, that's not cannibalism. We don't eat each other by eating eggs.
Oh, okay. Excuse me for that.
Yeah. Let's just take it down to what actually happened in the episode. So we recover the Yoda baby. IG-11 is dead, but I believe he's coming back because
He's a robot.
It's a robot and it's voiced by Taika Waititi.
Yeah. Can we call the Yoda baby Yoba?
Yoba. Okay, Yoba. We'll call him Yoba.
Because everyone keeps saying like Yoda baby, and they're like, oh, is it Yoda as a baby? Like, no, he's like 900.
Although I did hear a theory that I'm not totally against, that it's a clone of Yoda from the for those who know the Star Wars history, from the nefarious dealings of Sifo Dyas, who commissioned the Clone Army in Attack of the Clones, or before Attack of the Clones.
And then you never met him or had any reference to him. It's just a big old plot point. Except in the Clone Wars, you finally see him.
Yeah, but I don't know. That totally works for that. I mean, not to get into a whole defense of Attack of the Clones, but that totally works for that movie. It's the Obi-Wan stuff is like a
noir
mystery. Yeah, it's a noir film, which is awesome. But
yeah, I mean, I guess it works as like this noir underpin character.
I mean, that movie's problems is just that it has like too much going on. Like it's trying to be every movie all at once. And then The Mandalorian is just like, this is our one story.
Yeah, I love that.
Every aspect of it.
It's like a giant movie, I would say.
Oh no, I hate that shit. I want TV to be TV.
Okay,
and I think this actually succeeds at that. You know, like I'm tired of all these like streaming shows trying to be like, it's a 13-hour movie. Like fuck off. I'm watching a TV show. Just be good.
Let me rephrase that. It's like one single plot line, and sometimes with like Watchmen, and I love it, but I get bogged down by every single storyline I have to follow, and like.
So the theory is that it's a clone of Yoda that was commissioned during the Clone Wars, and because chronologically this takes place after Return of the Jedi, and so the clones were commissioned in Attack of the Clones, or before the Attack of the Clones even like started. Right? Like that's the whole thing, is that they've been around for a while. We just didn't know. The Jedi Order didn't know about it. So there might be like a bigger plan at play, which is kind of exciting, but also kind of a boring thing. Like we've seen enough Star Wars be tied to that narrative already.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean,
it's got potential.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's other members of Yoda's race. I mean, there's Yaddle. He's all there for like 2 minutes in a Phantom Menace, so it's not unheard of that there could be another of Yoda's race out there.
Yeah, that's true. We just don't know. But
don't see them.
Yeah, the first little bits of this episode are just like a bunch of baby Yoba shots.
Yeah, I love them.
It just like it's so cute, and it just keeps wanting to like walk around, and like there's these fun little like hints of it, like trying to like heal the Mandalorian after he gets injured, and he just keeps like no, putting him back. And I was wondering like, oh, are they gonna like hide that it has the Force for like the entire show? And no, by the end we find out that is not the case.
Yeah,
but,
I liked how he was really mystified by that. You know, showing that the Force isn't. I guess it's like the thing Han Solo says in A New Hope. It's seen as a weird religion sort of thing. No one really believes in it around this time, and still, even with Luke, which people were, I think, complaining about in Force Awakens, that no one believed in the Force.
Mm-hmm. I totally buy it in Force Awakens. You know, it's like it's a bigger leap to be like, oh yeah, by the end of Revenge of the Sith to beginning of A New Hope, no one believes in it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, look at real world religions. I don't go to church anymore. A lot of people don't.
Yeah, I buy it
Yeah.
when it happens in Star Wars. In this era specifically, we haven't seen any other eras, to be frank. But I buy it because like the Empire is a fascist regime. That's like, no, that doesn't happen. And America is basically a fascist regime. So like, and they're telling people like, no, that's not what happened. And
Yeah.
it's not whether or not people will buy into it. It's that whether or not they can keep like shouting the lie loud enough for people to believe it, like at a certain point. If that's all
Yeah.
people know, then what are you
Mhm.
going to do?
Yes.
That's all
Yes.
people hear. But yeah, I thought that was a very fun little thread, and God bless the show for not being too busy because it's really easy to do recaps about. We can kind of just talk
Yeah.
about like broad stuff happening.
hmm
The
Do you,
action,
oh yeah, I was gonna say let's definitely talk about that because yeah, it was so much better than the
so
last
much
one.
better. Rick Famuyiwa, the director of this episode. Rick Famuyiwa is the director of Dope from 2015. He was in line to do the Flash movie,
Uh,
and one of the many people in line to do that movie. He had left the project after developing it for a little while, and things don't work out,
it's
and
a
this is
it's
kind
a
of his comeback.
curse. It's a cursed production. The Flash.
Apparently,
It's the curse of the Flash. And I was gonna say that yeah, it would have been amazing if he did the Flash. That would have been like Chef's kiss.
yeah.
Yeah.
But no, he really steps up the action here because I think he knows how to like direct live action stuff better. Like I'm not
Yeah.
trying to drag Filoni. I'm really
No,
not because
no,
I'm a fan. I'm a
yeah,
fan,
no,
but like yeah, not the strongest debut possible.
yeah, it
But
was, yeah, it was amazing. In this, I was gonna say, did you catch the Last Crusade reference?
yeah, it's kind of hard to miss. It's
Okay.
just the Last Crusade bit where Indy's on the tank and then they on the side of the tank and they try to like crash him into the side of a mountain. But I mean,
hmm
like that's fun, like
Yeah, that was. I really appreciated that little like. Oh, it's very subtle. It's not like Solo where you have a random reference to Back to the Future for no reason.
they did.
Yeah, when I told you this before,
I probably
Han-
forgot because I forgot about Solo, a movie I
yeah,
liked, but still.
yeah, Han Solo mentions needles in the beginning when he's with Emilia Clarke. Needles from Back to the Future.
Oh, really?
He's one of the Biff. He's one of Biff's underlings.
Oh,
He's the
okay.
only needles in all of media, so it has to be. And Ron Howard. Why not?
Oh, I guess. Yeah, I guess he's kind of connected to that whole era.
Yeah,
But
it's
no,
really.
yeah, big step up in the action. Really fun to see him have more trouble with Jawas than like other mercenaries. And
Yeah, I
like
mean,
that's definitely not a criticism. Like it's a really fun set piece with him scaling the side of one of the big
mhm.
Jawa rover things.
Yeah, I forgot what they're called. But
No,
yeah, I
no
mean,
one knows.
yeah, they're like sand crawlers. They're sand crawlers.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say, but yeah, everyone underestimates the Jawas. They're small. They don't really have a face. No one knows what they look like. They
Yeah,
have guns. hmm
they just have little eyes and they have guns and they want little eggs
No things,
from
yeah.
from other animals. And Nick Nolte, after the Mandalorian cannot catch up with the Jawas, who have stripped his ship of all its parts or almost all its parts to because they're scavengers and all that jazz.
hmm
Nick Nolte helps the Mandalorian make a deal with the Jawas to get her stuff back, and they say they want the baby, and he's like, "What the fuck, no!"
They're gonna
and
eat the baby or something. They're
that
gonna
was
eat
my
the.
thought. I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, because my big concern going into the entire show was like, please don't be like, this isn't your daddy's
I,
Star Wars kind of
was
thing,
gonna,
right?
yeah, it's gonna be like the Mandalorians like kills them after they get Baby Yoda. It's like I killed them, and the woman, and the children.
No, I was worried about him giving the baby. Like in a darker timeline where there's
Mhm.
someone who wasn't John Favreau who got the show made was like, I got to give him the real Star Wars,
So if it was Zack Snyder, that did that,
No, no, because he would philosophize a little more.
it's like
There's
why?
more, like whether you dislike or like him or whatever. Like
Yeah,
he's always trying to get more going on under the hood
he's
at
like,
least.
yeah, he'll be
And like
like,
honestly, my big concern for any future Star Wars, like just for the rest of the time, is some hack coming in being like, I want to make the dark, real, gritty Star Wars, and it's like,
yeah,
don't do that. Star Wars is not that. Like in that version, they give Baby Yoda to the Jawas and it gets eaten. So the Mandalorian has to go hunt to find this little egg, and he takes the Baby Yoda with him. And at first, I was like, "That's weird," but then I just thought, like, "Oh, this dude doesn't trust anyone," and that's like his livelihood at the moment, the Baby Yoda. Yeah. So that makes sense to me. He's like, "Oh, I'm the most capable person here," said the person who just got beaten up by a bunch of Jawas. And so he finds a big monster in a cave because he's supposed to steal its egg. And there's a fun little Flash Gordon style like battle sequence where he's got to like try to outmaneuver this thing. He's got to push the baby away to safety. In this entire episode, the Yoba is trying to heal the Mandalorian, just do some little Force stuff, which I guess is intrinsic to that culture or that species, right? That intrinsic tie to the Force, and after like a rigorous beatdown where it looks like the Mando's gonna have to make a last stand with a little pocket knife, an image I really liked, by the way, just like the image of some dude not giving in to like the fight and just having like put up this little last stand. He is saved by Yoba when he lifts the space beast and lets the Mandalorian get the killing stroke, and then the Yoba is asleep for the rest of the episode. What was your reaction to the Force revelation?
I mean, I was kind of anticipating that, to be honest.
Well, I mean, I think the episode wasn't shying away from it. I'm just saying, like, what did you feel when it finally happened?
Well, I felt that I really wanted to it really showed the power of Baby Yoba and gave you a bit more hints of what to come. So just a little more mystified by what's gonna come next.
Yeah, it was. I actually felt a lot during this, and as someone who again was just really bored the first episode, I was like, "Where was this show? This is like really good."
Where's the show?
Yeah, like this was like exciting stuff. Like I felt something there. I was like, "Oh yeah, the Force is cool. Star Wars is cool." Right?
The Force is cool.
I just really liked it.
Yeah.
And we get to see the animal egg, and at first it looks like he's gonna have to carve through like some fluffy thing to get the egg, and then I was like, oh no, that is the egg, and then he pulls it up and it's just this furry egg, and it's like it's so simple of like a change from what we understand to be reality, but it's just a fuzzy egg. It's an egg that's fuzzy. It's basically like if a kiwi was an egg instead of a fruit,
A kiwi?
Yeah. That's really, I don't know. I just really liked it. Like it's very simple, but it's very weird.
Yeah, it has the art design for it. Really well done.
Yeah. The production design for the show is pretty dang impressive at this point.
Would you eat that? Would you eat that egg though?
I don't know. Like I guess if like someone delivered it and was like, "Hey, you want a fuzzy egg?" I'd be like, "I guess so. Yeah, I guess I do."
Okay.
I don't know if I would eat it. I would just like keep it. Like, what is that? Oh, it's my fuzzy egg. That's it.
I think I would eat it like hard boiled.
Jesus, it's so big. That's like you're opening like a restaurant with that egg. Like that's a breakfast buffet kind of deal. That's a hotel buffet kind of deal right there. So just be wary. Don't let that go to waste.
I won't.
Thank you. And so the Mandalorian goes back to the Jawa camp, gives them the egg. Nick Nolte was vouching for them to stay a little longer because he believed in the Mandalorian. I don't know if I still buy the connection between those characters, like their meeting, but I buy it like once they've started their journey together. And I don't know, I just liked this weird little image of like the Mandalorian, who's like kind of been co-opted by like the edgier Star Wars fans, quote unquote, right? And he's just hanging out with a baby Yoda and these weird little tiny aliens.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
It was a nice image, and then just kind of the comedicness of Nick Nolte's character every time he talks. I've spoken.
Yeah.
He just doesn't want to. I'll have to end conversations like that, like when I'm networking and like I already gave my card to someone and they keep talking. I've spoken and just walk away.
That'll end great.
Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, maybe there are other Star Wars fans out there.
Yeah,
it's not Star Trek. you know. Uh, when the Mandalorian asked Nick Nolte's character to stay on the ship with him, and he was like, "No, I've done my bit. Like I've tried to escape my life of servitude." But then, like in the sentence prior, he was saying like how he was his guest, so he serves him. I was like, this show keeps doing that. It was really bad in the first episode where there was like contradictory statements right after each other. So I hope that they kind of clean that up as they go along.
Yeah, some of the logic.
Yeah, it's a little. I don't know if I buy into all of it. You know, just tighten that up a little bit. It's not a deal breaker for me for sure. And this is, I think, just further proof that this is going to be a director's show where Jon Favreau is going to get a bunch of like people to hang out and just make little Star Wars episodes, and I think that's really great.
Yeah, and it seems like there's enough room to have them like show their own style and their own signature in it. It really feels like that, you know, like Rick Famuyiwa has like, you know, shows his style. Dave Filoni shows no style. And, like we'll see.
He could totally get there. He could totally get there.
It's gonna be the rag on Dave Filoni. Hour.
I like him.
I like Dave Filoni too. Like I want him to sketch me a little Lethal Cat and be like, I didn't say that. It's Jon Favreau. He's directing an episode. Am I wrong? Or?
He's not directing any this season. He's directing some next season because this is already like season 2 is already in production. So.
Okay, I mean, I'd be really interested to see what he's gonna do next season. Actually.
Yeah, because like what is what could they even like do was my big concern, like to keep the show going. But then it kind of, you know, hits you that like, oh yeah, this is like, it's a really simple show. It's so simple that basically it can go in any direction, and it would make sense.
I would be happy with that.
Yeah, me too. I just really want to highlight that I'm glad that like at least from this episode, it feels like it's just going to be a little standout showcase for people's talents to work with budget and cool like stuff that they wouldn't be able to work with on a regular budget. Like I think Dope, the movie, cost like maybe $5 million, probably less.
That's being generous.
Yeah, like it's a very low budget movie. And it's a very good movie, and I would recommend everyone check it out. I think we'll just try to do that. Every time a director comes in, we could recommend some stuff that they've done. Maybe we'll just get some highlights. Yeah, maybe that'd be kind of fun.
That'd be awesome.
Along with other guests of our own, which will be coming onto our show. So we're excited to talk about that. And what comes next. All right, so Gene, what do Baby Yodas eat?
I mean, they eat frogs, obviously. I think they eat like the stew that Yoda was making in Empire, whatever that was made out of, like snakes and shit on Dagobah. They probably eat snakes, like Yoda eat, and
maybe they eat reptiles. Maybe they eat reptiles then. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Yoda. I was gonna say I think Yoda eats like roots in like Empire, and some like he's chewing on some root of something.
I think Yoba and Yoda are just they eat reptiles. They're carnivorous, a carnivorous species, and they like the slimy stuff. I think that's my theory. So each episode we're gonna try to figure out like something that Yoba eats. We're gonna try to come up with a little Yoba cookbook by the end of this. Hopefully that works out and doesn't blow up in our faces horribly. Like
I hope not. Cooking with Yoda.
Yeah, I feel like that was cooking with Yoba.
I feel like there's probably some merch of that, like a Yoda cookbook. Rick McCallum probably authorized during his era a Yoda cookbook. It was like all the merch after Phantom Menace. It's one of those has to be it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And we didn't talk about it last time, but I really love the animated end credits.
Oh yeah, those are very stylistic. I love that.
Yeah, I think it's like, this is my theory, is that it's just concept art that they were doing for the episodes and stuff like that, right? And they're kind of just, because it kind of reminds me of the old Star Wars concept art, but a little different. Obviously, it's different artists because we lost the great Ralph McQuarrie, so we don't. Obviously, he's not around to share any more concept art. So RIP. But this stuff is really fun, and it's kind of just like highlighting sequences of the episode. And the last one is just the baby Yoba walking to the ship with the Mandalorian onto another adventure in a galaxy far, far away.
Are they just vibing?
They're literally just vibing. Do you think it would be a spoiler to make the image for this episode Baby Yoba?
No, I don't think so.
Like,
It's
I
already.
feel so bad for people that aren't in the States, and they're like, they don't get Disney Plus till like March, and it's like, this is
Oh
even
man.
like when I saw that episode, that was genuinely kind of a fun surprise to get. So like, how far do I
Yeah.
go with that? Because I know other people for sure aren't going to be that respectful.
I mean yeah. I mean those poor fans. They're very. Disney's really fucking them over.
Yeah,
I don't
Disney's
know.
trying to fuck
Maybe
everyone
like
over right now. So
yeah, I'm not sure.
all right, I
It's
think
your
I might
call.
just do it. I'm sorry, everyone. It's a good, it's a good episode. It was a good episode, though,
Yeah.
and I'm really looking forward to what comes next instead of being like, please be good, which is a nice feeling now.
Yeah. It was going to be a frustrating 6 more weeks if that was the case.
Yeah, well, I mean, it would have
Like,
just been frustrating because the first episode you could talk about whatever, basically, even if it wasn't good, and but now it looks like there's actually stuff to talk about. So, Gene, what is your perception of the Mandalorian character this episode to wrap things up?
Yeah, I'm very much intrigued by Pedro Pascal's character. Want to see what his whole deal is. He has more personality in this episode. This was a fun episode. It really had me engaged. It was only like 36 minutes, so I always appreciate any long series TV that's short and doesn't feel short, which it didn't. I loved all the little nods to. I love that nod to Last Crusade. That had me guessing, and yeah, pretty excited. I was just gonna say, it was cool to see inside the Sandcrawler the Jawa's ride. It reminded me of the Simpsons gag where that really tall guy is in that like really small like Volkswagen. Like that was the Mandalorian in their Sandcrawler. It's just like he doesn't fit.
Yeah, that was really fun.
That was a fun gag.
See him play like that.
I wanted to point that out because that was funny.
Yeah, I really gotten into this show from this one episode. Anything could happen. I don't think it's like fantastic or like must watch television, but I'm glad I'm tuning in now. So I would like to see this trend continue. I would like to see where the series goes because I think it has still infinite potential. I like the lone wolf and cub vibes. I mean, just the image of like this mercenary and a force baby is just so goofy and cool and weird, and I'm all about it right now.
Yeah, so, I can't wait till Carl Weathers interacts with the baby. They'll make stews.
Yeah. What's gonna happen with the baby now? Now I'm interested. Now I care. So thanks for joining me again, Gene. This has been Cantina Hangouts. I've been your host, Diego Crespo. Where can the people find you?
Gene9892, Twitter, Instagram.
And you can find me at Twitter at the Diego Crespo. Check out everything on the Waffle Press on Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Patreon, where you can support us for doing this show and a lot of other stuff that we do because I think we're pretty good at it and we have a lot of fun here. And we hope you have fun too. Not just watching The Mandalorian, but watching and listening to us. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We have been professionally unprofessional.